Hello dear viewer, I'm leesusss. Welcome back to Viscera Cleanup Detail. I think downstairs mostly done now. Really? I think probably? Maybe? Don't know. We're about to find out. We're going to work upstairs anyway. We're going to do the upstairs of the office. And see who's up here. By the way, unfortunately I already washed them away, but we'll keep an eye out for it. I found some different footprints. I found some footprints of... I thought it would be an alien for a second because it was a weird shape. I realised it must be robot footprints. Our little star shapes in the on the floor. It's kind of cool. Oh, good job leaving that there, you blimmin' idiot. I forgot I left that there. Yeah, so we're going to make a mess coming down the stairs because we've got to lug all these bodies down. There's nothing I can do about that. So the question is, should I simply now lug all bodies down the stairs? There's a reasonable argument for doing that, isn't it? Really? I mean, we could probably do that. It'd be a problem, obviously, if I was going to be filling out the proper report form and saying, you know, who got killed by what, etc., etc. But I'm not going to do that. You know, I don't do that. I got to draw the line somewhere. I'm going to limit myself. You know, I just haven't got much interest in doing that. So, by the way, do you know? I'll edit that out. You never know. Do you know that I've now made over 170 Viscera videos? Yeah, and you know, and about 20. They're roughly, you know, they vary, but you know, let's say 20 minutes each video. Okay, and of course, you don't get all of the actual playtime because I edit to various degrees. I tend not to edit the first videos very much because things are fresh and I'm doing fairly interesting stuff, but later on I edit more and more. You'll notice that you get more and more cuts as I go through the videos. But so let's say it's still full of eggs. My last play. Let's say, did you go through the window, sir? You might have done. Let's say that we can add another third to that. Okay, and my question is there something wrong with me? I mean, you'd tell me, wouldn't I? Wouldn't you? You'd tell me if you thought I'd gone too far, making, you know, what could have effectively be close to enough material for 1,000 videos, because that's what it would be. You know, add a third. No, let's call it 900 videos. Let's reduce the insanity very slightly. 900 videos. I mean, I'm not suggesting we need an intervention or anything, but you know, what does that say about me? I don't know. I do still enjoy it. I know you enjoy them. I don't do them as much as often as you'd like. General comment to my usual viewers there. That's just generally the feeling that I get. People love to see the Viscera ones for whatever reason. But you know, I don't know. Maybe you should do something. Should we? I can't do all the bodies. Like this is too many bodies, isn't there? Well, we've done that for now. We've done the main room. Okay, that will do for now. We'll hold there. I don't want you to just watch me lugging bodies around. And I quite like to see the bodies where they are, because you work out how they died. Again? Oh, here we go. The Organ Express train. Right, we'll deal with those later. There's a bin dispenser right there anyway. Yeah, so, I don't know. I see, not an intervention maybe, but I don't know. Maybe... That's 3 buckets so far. 3 buckets and counting. Just callously thrown aside. Don't do that one as well. Goodness. Maybe an intervention is not a bad idea. Maybe a shock collar. Maybe you can get me one of those. You know, like the ones that you give to a dog if it barks too much. You know, it's very cruel. Very cruel. But you know, every time a dog barks, you give him a little zap. You know, maybe every time I think about doing a Viscera video, it would somehow know, or I could mention it. I feel like doing a Viscera video, and you know, you can collectively press the red button and give me a little shock. Yeah, do you reckon? Think that's a good idea? I'm not sure. So I think we'll just slowly. Really? We'll branch our way out. That's made more work, isn't it? Really? We'll branch our way out from here. Just keep on expanding from this point here. Put them in boxes. We've read that note already, haven't we? There's some more to find. There's the big banger. We're not messing around with the big banger. Notes can go in a big pile over here. We'll get a bin. We'll get a bin. That used to go downstairs. We'll get a bin, and we can do dispensers downstairs, which is kind of annoying. Let's keep on collecting stuff as we go. I'm trying to remember. Oh God, what's going on here? I don't know how I managed to end up on top of the bin there. I've been editing the videos from the last lot and looking my way through. So I know that if you've probably already made comments by now that I'm doing the acid wrong. So that's already been resolved in another episode. And what else was I doing terribly badly? I can't remember. I was trying to remember, looking at the edits, how many barrels and boxes there are upstairs, because it is a little crowded. I don't think there's going to be as many, but I'm not absolutely certain. So we'll have to find out as we go. PIDs, store you safely there. I don't want to accidentally dump you. This was the only weapon some poor employee had, wasn't it, really? When the robots turned up and aced them. Whoever that was. Who's this? This is Amy Daniels. I've given up on the names, by the way. I don't think... I even looked on the wiki, but it does say that this is a level that the names are not auto-generated. They are fixed, but let's neaten this all up. Shall we do it properly, shall we, for a change? They are fixed, but I don't know what they mean. If you know, let me know. That's not the best arrangement for two... Or is it? For two screens. Is that the best way? What's better? Next to each other or one above the other? I can't imagine. I wouldn't mind actually having a screen above. I do. A theory, I can have two screens. And if I did streaming, which I never seem to get around to doing, then I could do two screens. But I don't know. I could do. It would be good. My old boss used to have 3 screens. He used to be doing all sorts of stuff at the same time, and he was one of those sort of people. You could imagine. He was a 3-screen kind of guy. He had spreadsheets and all sorts of things open all the time. So I guess it was Jiggle. I guess it was necessary for him. I don't think you can break the cups anyway, can you, really? Or can you? Next cup, we'll test it. We know we can break the bottles. I'm not sure we can break it. So this is the remainder, the detritus of the protest. They've been sitting around drinking beer. I did say it was beer. Ooh, didn't actually catch it there. I did say it was beer-powered, this revolution, didn't I? I think so many things probably are. This is part of a... Is it like a mini filing cabinet? Or is it actually part of a filing cabinet? Because... I imagine you could almost slot that back into another one, but it's got self-contained. It's not just a drawer, it's self-contained. Don't know. It seems like a kind of a strange filing cabinet. This bin is going to start doing weird things before long. Who's this? David Turner. David. Don't know who you are. Have we done this already? Oh, it's the one about the parody of the game, the city janitor game. So there you go. So that was good. I had a good session last time. I enjoyed it. I was good to get back into the Viscera. I was replying to a comment from Janitor who'd sent me a message ages ago. I'm really sorry. I've been slow to reply on things like YouTube and other things. Talking about putting links on Steam to the videos, which is a good idea. What you'd expect from Janitor, a good idea. And commenting that he's got more. He and Fodder have made some more maps. I don't know what Car Thief's up to, if he's been making any more or he's been doing other things. Oh, it's a photocopier. Is this? This is not how you guys have been making the signs, because they're all handwritten and they're not photocopied. So maybe just, you know what, this should be ended there. Well, that's a fun game. That's the ride the office chair game. I didn't actually plan to do that though. Just scoot yourself around. Weird. Has that one got anything in it? No, that one's empty. There we go. I was about to say, what would have been fun was you could put photocopies of butts around the office. Maybe there will be some somewhere. Who knows? Maybe they'll have done that. Possibly that's going too far. I know this game is full of blood and guts and everything else, but possibly that's going too far for the for the rating of the game. Having semi-nudity has gone too far. But there we go. Right then, so there's a lot of graffiti around here, so we need to start. Now we're away from the dispensing machine and the furnace. Oh, that's fine, we'll leave that there. What I'm thinking is we should probably start doing double efficient trips. And what I mean by that is, I haven't brought a box with me. We need some acid upstairs. We're going to need a lot of acid to do stuff. So, have I got a container down here? An appropriate container, or an inappropriate container, a toilet possibly, to dispense acid. We'll have to take one at a time. We'll take a bucket downstairs. Probably what we'll do is we'll wash the mess on the stairs for now, and then use the dirty bucket to lug acid upstairs. Oh, careful. Because we're going to need to regularly do that to keep up with the amount of graffiti. Otherwise, we're going to spend the whole session of just, lugging acid upstairs and chucking it on the walls, which doesn't seem like the best use of our time, really. There we go. So there appears to be some sort of terrible teleporter accident, and I've now merged with the stair rail. Oh no, I'm off again. Good. You're in a glitchy. I know. That's what the problem with the bucket was. I wasn't spinning the buckets earlier because of clumsiness. I was spinning them because the game's been a bit glitchy today. Yeah, that's the reason. Okay, now I'm glad that's all been resolved. It wasn't me. Good. There we go. Get rid of all the naughty graffiti. They all had a jolly good time until they were all shot and killed by robots. So, if you're an executive and your employees are misbehaving, okay, and you just happen to have a squad of killer robots, I mean, there might be someone out there watching this who is in that position. You never know. Let's not judge. So the question is, if you order that said robots to go and kill all the naughty employees, murdering them is the title. Who has actually committed the murder? It's one of those important you have to answer it at some point. I mean, if you run someone down with your car because you deliberately run them down with your car, you saw the local taxman and just flattened him, then that's vehicular manslaughter, isn't it? So the vehicle is just a tool. You have used it. Whether you could have bashed his head in with a spade or something, because you were doing the gardening when the taxman came past and admired your roses. And you then admire my roses, will you? What do you think of this? And you bashed his head in. So the question is, that's fairly clear. But the question is, if it's a robot and it's got some sort of free will, does it matter if it's the free will of the robot, or is it that depends on what you said to the robot. So if you said to the robot, this is of course assuming Asimov's 3 laws are gone, we're not applying those. If you said to the robot, bash this man's head in, and it did it, that's a direct command. Or if you said to the robot, kill this man, and the robot made its own choice about how it would kill him. I mean, did it strangle him? Did it tear his arm off and beat him over the head with it? What does it make a difference with that? I'm just idly wondering, because that's what I do when my brain is not fully engaged with something it should be doing and it's useful, i.e. not playing games. And just wondering, is that going to come up? Do you reckon that's going to come up at some point in the future? How long do you reckon? How long before someone? Because the 3 laws are a great thing. The 3 laws about you've probably heard them already, being clever people. But in case you haven't, a robot may not, through action or inaction, harm a human. That's rule number 1, isn't it? I think. And then rule number 2. Now, I always get these 2 around the wrong way. A human must always do what a robot must always do what a human says, I think. Unless it contravenes the first law. No, that's the 3rd law. So the 2nd law is a robot must self-preserve. Okay, it may not harm itself unless that contravenes the first law, and the third law. I'm now messing them all up properly. And the third law is a robot must do what a human commands, as long as it doesn't contravene the first 2 laws. Yeah, so they're all great, okay? That's wonderful. And in the Asimov universe, forget the films. The films are fairly mediocre in comparison. But the actual books, in the books, you know, you can't change that easily. You know, there's a few books where they played around. Mostly you can't. It's somehow part of the brain of the robot, the programming. So you can't just go, well, you know, we're going to build a robot that can't do that. It won't work, you know. I guess the brain is so complicated that trying to change that kind of thing means it's fixed in there. You know, whatever you do now, you can't build a robot that will contravene the 3 laws. The trouble is, we don't live in the Asimov universe, do we? And people are going to build robots, eventually ones that are autonomous, that do whatever whatever you're telling them to do, in whatever way they think appropriate, or through whatever means you've given them. You know, if a robot hasn't got the means to kill you, then it doesn't matter if you can tell if someone tells it to kill you or not. It can't do it. But you know, based on the tools that we give them, they would do it however. Oh God. Flipping heck. So at some point, you know it's going to happen. Why? Why? Why such an egregious amount of organs? At some point, someone's going to tell a robot, you know what, my boss, could you give him some ventilation, and not by opening the window, you know, literally ventilate it. And I wonder when it's going. Wait, how long? How long do you reckon it's going to happen? Because I reckon about probably 20 years. It'd be great for the papers. The papers are going to love it. Papers love the bad news. Bad news is not a bad thing as far as reporters are concerned. Oh, for goodness sake. By the way, I've not tested this bit. I mentioned it. Let's test it. What does that say? I'm not even rereading these signs now. I'll take a walk in our shoes. I'm so desensitized by the gore of my fellow janitors around me. I'm not even reading the signs anymore. I forgot about the protest. But you would do that, wouldn't you? You couldn't spend your whole time in a job like this sobbing over what's happened. You'd never get anything done, would you? That's my excuse. Maybe I'm just callous. Maybe I'm a psychopath. Maybe I just don't care about other people's feelings. What do you reckon? You know, everyone's a little bit psychopathic. There's a great book about that, which I read ages ago, called The Psychopath Test by John Ronson, who does some really good books. Interesting. Who was at this desk? Because they really went for it, didn't they? They really had a good old booze. Yeah, to do with, you know, how psychologists try to decide who's a psychopath or not. And believe me, it's not clear cut. It's not obvious at all. As far as you wonder to yourself, I don't care. I don't actually care about some people very much. You know, I don't care what happens to them. Not in a bad way. Not like, you know, if you saw someone run over, you wouldn't care. But not caring about everybody in the world. And sometimes when we do our jobs or things regularly, we become callous. We sort of forget. There's a big thing right now with people being deported from the UK. And news about the employees of the Home Office, some of the centres, being unnecessarily callous to people who are going to be deported. And sometimes I think it's been warranted, and other times I'm thinking, no, they've just sort of been desensitised. They're not really registering anymore. Not that they don't think that people as humans, but they're just so used to the grind and the horror of it all that they're sort of dealing with it the best way they can, which is what people do. And I think that's what you get in a job like this. You couldn't help it. You'd start to ignore the excesses. What's this one down here? Here we go. Adam Jefferson, office worker. Okay, so we've got some office people commenting. That's nice. We've only had whatever her white name was before, the liaison officer. Everything else has been janitors. I had a rather unpleasant encounter downstairs with one of those sanitation drones this morning. Now, is this... I've not read the rest of it yet, but they do mean drones, as in a negative view about a person, like a prole, you know, a lower class person, or a drone, actually a cleaning drone. The office bathroom was fully occupied after last night's office party carry. Forced me to use the downstairs one. Oh, not downstairs! There, it's a guy. Okay, so she's... Adam, I'm hating you already. And the filthy guy in his overalls starts shouting at me, asking me all sorts of things, I don't have the answers to. And throwing beer bottles at me. How the hell do they get beer? I really don't like those damn guys being so close to us up here. Management must do something about this. See, desanitisation. They're thinking of people not as humans, not as another guy trying to do his job and reaching the end of his tether, but like a drone, like a machine, or like a what would you an insect drone, or like a bee drone. They're not slaves. They're just... Would they be considered mindless? I don't know. How do you reckon a bee would look at other... How do you reckon the queen bee looks at her drones? You know, that's the drone he's referring to here. You know, just a worker. What do you reckon she feels? Do you think she feels any love for them, or any consideration for them? They're just part of the workforce. I mean, she's made them, but she's an insect, so she doesn't think like us. Alien minds on that. I don't know, it was an Attenborough book, you know, about alien minds. It was about insects, about the way insects think. Yeah, I think there was, actually. I'm not sure. Lack of water buckets. Get a bucket! Clean bucket. I'm all over the place today, aren't I, with my brain? What's going on? If I actually tried to do any work, it would be useless, because I wouldn't be able to concentrate at all. But for saying like this, brain's feeling pretty fertile and jumpy today. What are you up to, brain? I know you have a mind of your own most of the time. That's all sorts of stuff, but I'm not really planning on you to. I'm just wondering, you know, what if the... What's that saying there? Management. Oh, that's a violent sign, actually. That's probably the most violent sign. Well, I know we've had graffiti about taking people's heads off, but that's probably the most violent sign I've seen so far. Dead management with tears of blood coming down. Who's this? Who did this? This one I think had been blown. Susan Smith. I think she was blown through a window, wasn't she? Blown backwards by the bullets. Although, hold on, CSI again. No, not blown backwards for the office because the bullet holes are on this side. Therefore, someone was killed in there, but she was just shot and the windows were broken by said bullets. CSI today. What's this sign say? Roger Wilco. Roger Wilco. Chip, chip, tally-ho. I went all surprisingly smooth yesterday. Surprisingly smoothly, Roger. You're an uneducated drone, so I wouldn't expect you to know that. It went surprisingly smooth yesterday. I can hardly believe it. We've gained control of the offices and have been picketing in front of the cameras ever since. Some of our budding artists have decided to paint some messages on the walls. I'm not sure I agree with all their sentiments, but at least it will get management's attention. Hey! Looks like Joe found a cache of beers! This day's got even better! Who had the cache of beers anyway? Who's been squibbling beers away? Apparently it's the best stuff on Andorra 5 or whatever it was that said on the thing. That is not going to work, me. You know what glass is like. So the question with the glass, how much glass is there? Because glass is a giant pain in my jacksie. And a giant pain in my giant jacksie. Oh, for God's sake. And to get rid of. So the answer is, of course, you either laser it. Get in there, Roger Wilco. Or you just stick it in the bins, and it's because it's not very much. You just chuck it away. I think I'll probably just stick it in bins. Probably. I think. That's my assessment. I don't think there's that much to do with. By the way, hold on a second. For some reason I had a weird effect there. I saw that light on the wall, and for some reason, just for a second, I thought graffiti. Don't know why. I guess because the brain's not really thinking very clearly, as usual. So, I didn't do it, did I? I said I was going to, every time I went upstairs, I was going to go and get some more. Well, I was going to get some more acid. Wasn't I? But to do that, I need to have an empty container to put in. It doesn't really work, does it? Doesn't work, because I go down with a container. that I then put in the furnace. But I don't have a second container with me in which to carry the acid. So, therefore, I'm stuffed. I'm boned! Never mind. I'll have to just carry a container down here and lug lots of acid upstairs. That's alright. Just how it goes. You try to be efficient, but sometimes it isn't going to work. You know what? Let's leave this here so I can knock it over. But also, rubbish falling on the stairs can get put in there.